If you find yourself looking at your bank account once more, wondering why the expected Social Security deposit has not yet arrived, and questioning whether this is merely a matter of timing or if something has actually gone awry, please understand this clearly from the outset. You are certainly not alone in this experience, and the situation is not uncommon given the events of the past several days. Most importantly, the funds you are awaiting have already been authorized and released by the federal government. This is no longer a question of approval or eligibility. It is purely a matter of processing and timing. Over these recent days, countless seniors across the nation have been engaged in the very same rituals, refreshing mobile banking applications, calling automated telephone systems, and quietly running mental calculations for essentials like rent, groceries, prescriptions, and utility bills. When a payment you depend on arrives even slightly late, it rarely feels like a minor delay. It feels unsettling, as if the ground has shifted beneath your feet. That reaction is entirely understandable, particularly for those on a fixed income where there is little margin for unexpected changes. What makes this moment distinct, and why this update is so crucial, is that a confirmed deposit wave is now actively progressing through the federal payment system. These funds are not awaiting signatures, sitting in review, or placed on hold. They are genuinely in motion. The confusion and anxiety many are feeling stem primarily from one key issue. Not every financial institution posts deposits at the same time. The hours between midnight and early Monday morning are typically when uncertainty peaks. Some individuals will notice a pending deposit notification first, while others will wake to find the full amount already posted and available. Both scenarios are normal. Neither indicates that something is wrong. To understand why, we must consider what has actually changed behind the scenes. Within the last 48 hours, a finalized Treasury payment file was transmitted into the automated clearing system. This step is critical because once a payment file reaches this stage, the funds are irrevocably committed. They cannot be stopped for reconsideration or returned for further review. From that moment forward, the journey becomes one of routing, not decision-making. The payment follows a fixed path, moving from Treasury processing into federal settlement validation, then through automated clearing channels, and finally into the individual posting cycles of banks and credit unions. This process occurs in waves, not as a single instant drop across every account nationwide. Most banks post Social Security deposits during early morning settlement windows, commonly between 2 and 6 o'clock in the morning local time. Each financial institution maintains its own internal batching schedule, which is why two people receiving the same type of benefit can observe very different results at the identical moment. One might see a pending notice, while another sees the full balance available immediately. Both outcomes are part of the same broader release. What matters most is this. Once the payment file is released into the system, the money is traveling. It is not being rechecked, reconsidered, or lost. This specific deposit wave encompasses retirement benefits, disability payments, supplemental security income adjustments, survivor benefits, and other Social Security-related deposits that were delayed earlier in the week due to reconciliation slowdowns. The system experienced a period of congestion, paused briefly to correct the issue, and then released the correction in bulk. That bulk release is significant because it indicates this is not a series of isolated fixes but a coordinated correction designed to restore stability before the next settlement window opens. When corrections are handled in this manner, movement often appears sudden after a period of silence. That contrast can be jarring, but it is normal for large-scale settlement operations. Behind every delayed deposit is a real person, someone planning carefully, someone deciding what expenses can wait and what cannot. Many seniors have expressed that the hardest part was not even the money itself, but the silence. When the system goes quiet, worry fills the space. That emotional response is not mere impatience, it is a rational reaction to uncertainty. Fixed income households depend on predictability. Bills do not pause, and prescriptions cannot be delayed indefinitely. When payments arrive on schedule, life feels manageable. When they do not, even briefly, stress rises quickly. The important reassurance here is that the accounts affected by last week's slowdown were not forgotten, flagged, or denied. They were caught in a system-wide congestion event that is now being cleared all at once. Now, let us get specific about who is most likely included in this release. Beneficiaries whose birthdays fall between the 11th and the 20th of the month and who did not receive their expected payment earlier in the week are strongly represented in this batch. That group sits in the middle of the standard payment schedule, which means even short slowdowns tend to affect them first. In addition, Supplemental Security Income recipients whose payments were temporarily held during recent system maintenance are included. There are also cleanup deposits for accounts that completed verification just after earlier cutoff times. In these cases, eligibility was never the issue. Only timing was. One of the most common misunderstandings occurs around midnight. Many people assume that if a deposit is not visible the moment the date changes, they have been skipped. In reality, most banks do not finalize posting at midnight. They complete posting during early morning settlement cycles. Checking repeatedly overnight often increases anxiety without providing clarity. A more accurate and healthier pattern is to check once before bed and then again after waking in the morning. The scale of this release confirms its purpose. Processing data tied to this wave reflects billions of dollars moving across millions of individual payments. Numbers of that magnitude do not appear for minor technical errors. They reflect a deliberate clearing action meant to stabilize the payment cycle and restore predictability. Some beneficiaries may notice small differences in their deposit amounts. In many cases, this reflects benefit adjustments now being integrated directly instead of corrected later. Certain deductions tied to Medicare premiums or assistance programs may appear reduced automatically. A slightly different number does not automatically mean a mistake. Often, it reflects a delayed adjustment, finally aligning correctly with the payment calendar. The most reliable way to confirm what you are seeing is through your official payment history, which shows whether a deposit is pending, posted, or adjusted. That record reflects the official transaction rather than how a bank temporarily displays incoming funds. Now, let us set clear expectations for Monday morning. If your payment was part of the delayed group we have discussed, the funds are no longer waiting on approval. They are already in settlement. The key window to watch is overnight into early morning, typically between 2 and 6 o'clock in the morning local time, depending on your bank's posting schedule. If you check at midnight and see nothing, that is not a denial. It is not a signal that something went wrong. It simply means your bank has not completed its posting cycle yet. This situation began as a delay, but it ends as a confirmed movement of funds already committed to beneficiaries. Nothing about this release suggests suspensions, denials, or program changes. It reflects congestion that has now been cleared in bulk. The waiting has been stressful, and that stress is valid. But Monday morning is no longer a question mark. It represents the final stage of a payment process that is already underway and moving toward completion. To further ease your mind, consider the intricate steps involved in moving these funds. The Treasury Department must first compile and verify payment files, ensuring each beneficiary's amount is accurate after accounting for any adjustments. These files are then encrypted and transmitted through secure federal networks to the automated clearinghouse, which acts as the financial highway for electronic transactions. From there, the data is distributed to regional Federal Reserve banks, which in turn relay the information to individual financial institutions. Each bank must then reconcile the incoming data with their own accounts, applying holds or making funds available according to their policies and the time of day. This multi-layered process, while highly efficient under normal circumstances, can encounter bottlenecks when volume spikes or when unexpected reconciliation tasks arise, as happened earlier this week. The system is designed to catch and correct such issues, but that correction can sometimes pause outward communication, leading to that uneasy silence. It is also worth remembering that Social Security payments are not merely transactions, they are lifelines. For many, these deposits represent the sole consistent source of income, meticulously budgeted to cover necessities that cannot be deferred. The anxiety felt is not about luxury or impatience. It is about survival and dignity. When the flow is interrupted, even temporarily, it disrupts carefully laid plans and introduces a note of vulnerability. That is why the confirmation of a bulk release is so vital. It signals that the system has recognized the disruption and is acting decisively to rectify it. The very fact that the release is occurring in a coordinated wave indicates that the underlying problem has been identified and resolved at the source, not left for individual banks or beneficiaries to untangle. You might also wonder about the role of your specific bank in this process. While the federal government initiates the payment, each bank has its own schedule for posting deposits. Some institutions update accounts in real time as soon as they receive notification, while others batch process all overnight transactions during a single window in the early morning hours. Credit unions may have different timelines still, often depending on their partnership with larger processing networks. This variance explains why a neighbor with a different bank might see their deposit earlier or later than you do, even though both payments originated from the same Treasury file. There is no advantage or penalty based on your bank choice. It is simply a matter of operational rhythm. If you are among those who receive supplemental security income, the recent delay may have been particularly acute due to overlapping system maintenance. These payments are often on a slightly different schedule, and when technical updates occur, they can temporarily hold funds that are otherwise ready. The current wave includes those held payments, now released alongside the regular retirement and disability benefits. Similarly, if you recently updated your banking information or completed a verification process, your payment might have been queued for the next available cycle, which is now this bulk release. This is why some beneficiaries who contacted the Social Security Administration earlier in the week were told their payment was processed but not yet posted. That gap has now closed. For those who monitor their accounts closely, the appearance of a pending transaction can be both a relief and a source of new questions. A pending status means the bank has received the instruction to deposit funds but has not yet finalized the transaction. This is a normal step, especially for larger batches of government payments. It does not mean the amount is uncertain or that it might be reversed. It simply means the bank is following its protocol to ensure all details match before making the funds available for withdrawal. Once the pending status clears, usually within those early morning hours, the money becomes fully accessible. In the rare event that you do not see any activity by mid-morning Monday, do not panic. The first step is to allow until the end of the business day for your bank to complete its posting. If still nothing appears, then it is appropriate to contact your bank's customer service to inquire about incoming electronic deposits. They can often see transactions that have not yet been visible in your account view. If the bank confirms no pending deposit, then reaching out to the Social Security Administration may be necessary, but only after this window has passed. Remember, the vast majority of delayed payments are resolved in this overnight wave, and your patience is likely to be rewarded. This entire episode underscores the fragility of systems we rely upon and the human need for communication. The lack of real-time updates during the delay heightened anxiety, but now that the process is visible again, confidence can return. The Social Security Administration, despite its scale and complexity, ultimately functions to deliver these benefits reliably, and when hiccups occur, they are corrected with seriousness and speed. The billions of dollars now in motion represent a collective commitment to every beneficiary, a promise that while delays can happen, they are not ignored. As you move through this evening and into tomorrow, try to ease the habit of constant checking. Trust that the machinery of the payment system, once set in motion, is durable and directed toward you. The money is coming. It has left the station, passed through the gates, and is on the final leg of its journey to your account. The uncertainty of the past days is giving way to the certainty of settlement. You have endured the wait with resilience, and soon the balance will reflect what you are owed. Let that knowledge provide a measure of peace as you close this chapter of waiting and prepare for the morning.